I think GDMS as a whole offers their employees opportunities to open their wings and do many different things. Myself, for example, I went project leadership, program management, back to senior engineering manager of engineering. We have that ability to offer our employees that career advancement, career growth.
Welcome to Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How, the podcast for cleared professionals looking for new opportunities and career advice. We go behind the scenes with recruiters and hiring managers from leading cleared employers to uncover the information you need to make a smart career move. Get ready for insights from this week's guest and your hosts, Kathleen Smith and Rachel Bozeman.
Hello, podcast listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Security Cleared Jobs, Who's Hiring and How. We have another great guest queued up today, and here to help me welcome my guest is my always exciting and witty and beautiful co-host, Rachel.
Oh, stop, but keep going. Keep going. Tell us more, Kathleen. So I'm going to do my best to live up to all that hype. No pressure at all. It's going to be great. But tell us, who is our guest today, Kathleen?
Today's guest is Kelly Newman, Senior Engineering Manager at General Dynamics Mission Systems. Kelly, welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, we are glad you're here too, Kelly. And something we like to start with is to kind of tell us about your career journey. I know you've worn many different hats there at General Dynamics, but would love to hear, how did you land there and what have you done since you landed there?
I started here as a junior engineer 28 years ago. So I worked my way up the ladder relative to being a design engineer, working in a product-based business. When I say products, transceivers, transponders, things of that nature in the civil area. And then transitioned into what was called project leading at that time. Now it's called Deputy Program Manager of Engineering, DPME. So I transitioned from a design role, hands-on, into more of a leadership role. And then got an opportunity to take on some program management roles. And I did that for roughly 10 years. And then got the tap on the shoulder to lead this space development agency engineering effort, if you will, overseeing the engineering team for GD and SDA. A short synopsis, but yes.
Well, those of us who've been in the industry for quarter a century or more, like myself, it's sometimes hard to encapsulate exactly all of the things that we've done. And I've known of GD Mission Systems for decades. And I know that it's involved with many domains: land, sea, air, space, and cyber. And I understand that you support one particular contract with the Space Development Agency. So where does your work with the Space Development Agency fall within the purview of GD Mission Systems, and what work does it do to support the cleared community?
So the Space Development Agency is contained within GDMS. We were awarded a contract in May of 22 to be the prime for the ground element, the ground system for the SDA. What that means, though, is that we work with all of the ground elements, our partners. We are partnered with another company called Radium and other subs within the program in itself. And then how that flows up to the SDA is we're the glue that binds the O&I centers, that binds the operational system together. So the customer, SDA, looks to us, GDMS, as the prime and the purveyor of ensuring that we're meeting all of our requirements as it relates to that. And that's why we're out hiring, because we're growing, we're expanding.
Well, I want to touch on that. So the hiring part of it, I love that you're the glue. And I know we have some friends out there that would also like to be part of the glue of the organization. So what type of security cleared positions are you currently hiring for?
Many. I mean, there's a large portion of what we do that can be done in an open environment, what we call controlled unclassified information, called CUI, right? But we do have aspects of the program, and I look for people that have secret DoD clearances, because there's many of those out there. But we also have some positions where we need a TS clearance top secret, and SDA has its own SCI compartmentalization that we have folks cleared for. So there's multiple levels of clearances that we're looking for.
And so the next question, it's coming. Where are these positions located?
What I typically do, especially with folks that we're looking for that are cleared, having them close to a GDMS site is advantageous. So obviously Scottsdale is one area that we're most populated at. So most of the team is located here in the Scottsdale, Arizona area. We've got 2 sites on this campus right now that we're expanding in. Also, additional sites are in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, Virginia. So I look for people that are close to sites where they could actually get into a skiff and do some cleared work, right? So that's important. But that being said, we have a lot of people on the team that are very diverse across the continental United States that can support us. As I stated, there's a lot of our work that can be done in a controlled, unclassified environment that doesn't need to be in a skiff.
And that really opens up to the next question, because we all know that people are very curious about remote positions or flexible situations.
Right.
And I understand that you have cleared work remote and non-cleared work. So tell us about how you support the Space Development Agency with flexible work arrangements.
So being very flexible, number one. And one of the things that this team has embraced, and I've been with this program for 2 years now, so I'm very impressed with how we operate in an agile environment. So we embrace the safe, agile framework, and our teams meet almost daily. And so it's very important when you've got a remote staff that's working, say, in Minnesota, in our main offices in Scottsdale, such that we know that those folks in different locations know on a daily basis what their tasks are and how they get those. And since we're operating in an agile framework environment, we have 2-week sprints on top of PI planning events that take place every 3 months. And so, as you can imagine, that it's very important that we meet on a daily basis. And so that's from a team as large as we are, probably 150 plus, but growing to over 200 staff engineers within the next 6 months. And so that's very important for us to have those daily interactions to ensure that all of the team members know exactly what they're going to be executing for that sprint, if you will.
Absolutely. So that's a lot of growth over the next 6 months, and know that you're looking for those engineers. But something that always helps job seekers out there is to understand what kind of talent or what kind of people do really well at GD Mission Systems.
So a lot of breadth, I think, is good. But what I've been focusing on lately is young engineers that are really not necessarily have the skill set that we're looking for today, but have the potential to grow into that. And so what I've been focusing on, and what I'll probably focus on for the next few months, is hiring younger engineers that are energetic, very enthusiastic, want to learn, and are able to carry the baton, if you will, as us older guys retire and punch out. So that's my focus. But I mean, the type of people that do really well here, software engineers are obviously it's a ground system. It's software-based systems engineers, because obviously it's a system of systems. So we really need some talented system engineers. I am looking for specific engineers that understand a tracking element, because that's one large part of what we're doing. That's part of this configuration, the constellation is. In essence, system engineers and software engineers are very much the focus of our hiring aspects right now.
When you were talking to our staff on the pre-call, you mentioned that GD Mission Systems has employees who have been with the company, 30, 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like your culture at GD Mission Systems really supports career growth. I think you even described the culture as both extremely rewarding and forgiving. What do you mean by that? And do you have an example that you can share with our audience?
So yes, you're spot on with the longevity of employees here at GD. I have friends that have been in the company longer than I've been there, 28 years, but I have friends that are closing in on, 40-year time frame. It's rewarding. I think GDMS as a whole offers their employees opportunities to open their wings and do many different things. Myself, for example, I went project leadership, program management, back to senior engineering manager of engineering. We have that ability to offer our employees that career advancement, career growth. And not only that, GD offers specific programs for our younger engineers. We have a program called SEAL, System Engineering Architecture Leadership, that hand-picked selection of folks, engineers, young engineers, are earmarked for to go through this training. And it's a very exceptional program that offers younger engineers and propels them into leadership roles within engineering, within GDMS. So that's just one of the things. In terms of forgiving, I think it's just, GD is very offering of opportunities in case somebody is in a position where they would like to make a change. We go out of our way to make sure that that person can actually get a change.
I'm going to throw in an additional question. So, you have mentioned throughout our interview young engineers.
Mhm.
And what mentoring would you give to a young engineer thinking about their cleared career versus going a commercial career?
Sometimes the younger generation, there's a stigma with having to work in a skiff environment. They can't take their phone, those kind of things. But I've been seeing a lot more recently where we've interviewed young out of school, we'll call them pandemic babies, that really want to embrace the culture and get into the mission. So I've been very impressed and interviewing and talking with younger engineers, newly graduated, that want to get into an experience with the program and embrace the mission and be in that skiff environment. So, and not have your cell phone hitched to your side, right? So that's part of the stigma, I think, with some of the open and closed programs. There are still younger engineers that don't want to be stuck in a skiff. I worked in a skiff for 12 years straight when I was a program manager. And it does have a downside relative to that. But there's also the aspects of the mission that we're supporting. And that's the reward, right?
I think the reward is also you're working on things that are more challenging and more complicated than what you would in the commercial world. Because
Exactly.
in the commercial world, there's always a revenue component to what you're doing versus when you're working in a cleared community or a mission supportive community, you're working on things that have a higher purpose, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Agreed.
what's really great. And serving a higher purpose, knowing that you are a Marine. Thank you for your service, Devil Dog.
Yeah.
What does GD Mission Systems do to ensure that there is a smooth transition process for transitioning military?
Our talent acquisition team, I think, is probably one of the best in the industry. And so we've got a very detailed organization that actually works directly with the transitioning military and provides the details to folks like myself or other managers that are hiring engineers. In terms of providing a smooth transition, it's kind of a case-by-case and individual assessment with folks that are coming from the military. Some come to us that are non-degreed and have to, finish a degree. Some come to us that are fully queued up with a 4-year degree behind them. So it's really just about ensuring that somebody from the military community, when they do come in, can then adapt to what we're doing, as a not necessarily a commercial business, but a big, large corporation that they may not be used to, right?
I have another question on that. Sorry to keep cutting you off, Rachel. I've had so much coffee this morning. I'm just going for it. So, what's some of the advice that you would give to any engineer coming in to meet with you or your team? What are some of the things that they should do to prepare themselves to meet with you?
One of the things that I listen for, and a lot of times when I'm interviewing or sitting in on interviews, I've got my technical team on the phone because they can ask the questions that I just don't know to ask, right? I'm on the call for character and personality and trying to see if the folks are being as honest and open as they can be. One piece of advice that I would give engineers, whether they be young, medium, or older, is don't try to answer questions that you don't really have an answer for. Be okay with the I don't know, and I'll figure that out and I'll come back to you. I think that's a very important aspect of things. And the other is, again, I've probably had several hundred interviews over the past year or so you get a lot of experience with this. I mean, and there's different levels of nervousness, and that's okay. I mean, being nervous is just part of the process, but don't let it impact or interfere with interacting with the panel, right? Because typically when we phone screen, I've got panels on there, and then when I do face-to-face interviews, it's really a one-on-one with myself or my team.
Very cool. It's always good to get a hiring manager's perspective in there. A lot of times we hear from the recruiters what to do, but it's great to hear from those that are executing the interview some great advice. So thanks for sharing that. So we know that there's folks that are going to be so interested in learning more about the opportunities there. So how in the heck can they get in touch with you or your talent acquisition team?
They could just email me directly, or even the talent acquisition team as well. I am on LinkedIn, so anybody can find me on LinkedIn and reach out and let me know if they're interested.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for spending time with us today. We really appreciate you explaining the behind the scenes for engineers needed to support the Space Development Agency. Thank you.
No, thank you guys.
So Kelly had a really amazing number of things to say, especially about the Space Development Agency he supports. I really appreciated his feedback about young cleared engineers going into mission supported work and how people are more excited now about the passion to support the mission. Rachel, what did you enjoy about Kelly's conversation today?
You're so right, Kathleen. There was so much great information that Kelly shared with us. And I really appreciated the importance he put on looking for skills that might not be readily available today, but that you can build in-house. The programs they have to nurture and grow those folks that are just kind of starting out in the industry, I thought was super cool. If you want more, and we know you want more, make sure you get out there and follow so you never miss one single episode. And remember, while you're out there doing great and amazing things, give us that 5-star review in your favorite podcast app. Until next time,